underneath your desk.
All right, so for our 10-minute math today, our number is 348, and we're creating expressions. What are expressions? Unmute and tell me, and then mute yourself again.
Expressions are like it doesn't have an equal sign.
Yep. No.
Expressions are equations that don't have an equal sign.
Yep. All right, so for our rules today, you have to use at least one multiple, 10 or 100 in each expression. And I think the word multiple, let me get my pen. It always happens. The word multiple might be confusing for some people. So a multiple of 10 means that if you count by tens, you can get to that number. So like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. These are all multiples of 10 because I can count by 10 and get these numbers, or I can multiply something by 10 to get those numbers. And it's just the same thing for 100. So 100, 200, 300, 400, and I could keep going. These are all multiples of 100 because I can count by hundreds to get to those numbers. So you have to have one multiple of 10 or 100 in your expression, and you're using only subtraction today. Only subtraction. So I'm going to give you about 3 minutes to come up with your expression.
Here's a little secret too about multiples of 10. I didn't think of this, and I meant to talk to Ms. Weil about this. If you have a multi-digit number and it ends in 0 in the ones place, you know it's a multiple of 10. So any number that is more than one digit and has a 0 in the ones place is a multiple of 10.
Two more minutes. One-minute warning.
If you're done, you can always make a second expression. It says create expressions. That means more than one. So if you made an expression, try to make a second one if you're done.
All right, raise your hand if you would like to share. Ania, we will start with you. We're gonna wait about 30 more seconds. I just want to see who wants to share. If your camera's not on, please turn it on so I can see that you are working. All right, Ania, start us off.
First I did 400 minus 100, and I got 300, and then not 400, 448. 48 and minus 148.
And Leah, we're gonna let you work through that and try to figure that one out. Make sure you look at the screen because you're only trying to get to 348 and you can only use subtraction. So we're gonna give you a minute and we'll come back to you. Does anybody else want to share?
Michael, I saw that your hand was up.
So I did 500 minus 100, and I got 400. Then I subtracted 48. I lost my words.
Well, let's work through it from here.
So 500 minus 100 would be 400. And you still need to go down a little bit further to get to 348. So what could you do to get from 400 to 348?
I know.
Somebody help them out.
400 minus 50 equals 450. 450.
What's 400 minus 50? Wouldn't be 450, that would be 500 minus 50. So
I
what's
lost my words. It's gonna equals 300.
350? So how can we get to 348 from 350? What would we need to subtract?
Subtract 2.
Yep, there you go. So you have 500 minus 100 is 400, minus 50 is 350, and 350 minus 2 would be 348. And your multiples of 10 or 100, these are all multiples of 10 and 10. And this is a multiple of 100 and 10. And this is a multiple of 100 and 10. All right, Ania, did you fix your expression? Are you ready to share that? You just shake or nod your head. Huh?
I did 648 minus 48, and we got I still need to work on it.
That's fine. That's all you had to say. If you weren't ready, that's all right. All right, somebody else. Somebody that has a subtraction expression using at least one multiple of 10 or 100 to get us to 348. Someone else has to have one. You all had time to work. Cynthia.
469.
459.
69
Okay.
minus 100
Right.
minus 20 minus 1.
And which ones are your multiples of 10 or 100?
120.
120. Good job. Anyone else? Going once. Going once. Going twice. All right, we are moving on to our goal for today.
All right, so Alex J, could you read our goal for today's assignment, please? Or lesson, not assignment.
Modeling and solving word problems that involve
Multiplicative.
Multiplicative comparison.
Right. Thank you, sir. So this means that when we're doing problems like this today, we're working at problems that are going to ask us to multiply and compare two different things using multiplication. All right. And so we're going to work on how to model those and kind of show those different examples and then go through and solve them. It's going to be a combination of understanding the word problem as well as then using the strategies to solve multiplication problems. Okay. So we're going to look at our first one. And we're going to start with that first step of understanding what a problem is asking us. CJ, can you read the problem for us, please?
Darlene picked up 7 apples. Juan picked 4 times as many apples as many apples. How many apples did he pick up?
Thank you, sir. Corbin, what's one number or one important thing that's in this problem that we need to pay attention to?
The numbers.
Yeah, what's one thing that's important information we need to use to understand this problem?
7.
7
No,
apples.
how many apples did he pick?
Okay, so pick one. We're going to go, okay. So we're trying to answer the question of how many apples did who pick? Who's he? Who's he in this problem? When it says how many apples did he pick?
Darlene.
Nope. We know how many Darlene picked. Who's he when it says how many apples did he pick? Somebody else help him out. When it's to ask us how many. Juan. That's the name. Juan, right? So the who is Juan. We're trying to figure out how many apples he picked. All right, that's one thing that's important. Let's see. Derek, what's something else that's important for us to understand this problem?
Wait, you said what could do what again?
What's something in this word problem that's important for us to understand to help us understand the problem to solve it? We said it's important to try to figure out how many apples Juan picked. What else on that problem is important for us to pay attention to?
What is in the apples?
Yep, Darlene picked 7 apples, right? So 7 apples, and that applies to Darlene. Eric, there's one more thing that's important in this problem. What do you think it is? We've got, it's asking us how many apples Juan picked and that Darlene picked 7 apples. What's the other thing in the problem that seems important, Eric?
I think that was going to be 4 times 7. I think it's multiplication.
Yep, so Juan picked 4 times as many apples, right? That's the important part. And so because it says he picked 4 times as many, we know that we're taking Darlene's 7 apples, right? And that Juan picked 4 times as many. So we're going to go through some ways that we can represent that problem. I'm going to show you some ways to represent the problem. I'm going to model this one, and then you're going to do one with Miss Weibel together where you guys kind of model it on your own and then share ways you modeled it, all right? So the first way we can do this is we can do our circle groups like we've gotten familiar with, right? So on this, it's important when I draw it that I'm showing the difference between Darlene and between Juan. So I'm going to put that this is Darlene right here. And we're going to draw a little basket for her apples. And she has 7. She picked 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are her 7 apples, right? So Juan picked 4 times as many. So that means if Darlene picked one bag, like one little group of apples, Juan picked 4 of those. So then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to say this is Juan's. So he had his one group of 7, but he did that 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's my other one to show it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here's my other one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And my last one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's ones. That's one way to represent it. I'm not going to actually go solve the problem yet. Another way I can represent it, we've been doing it a lot this week, is with an array. So I could do an array to show Darlene. She's only going to have 1 row Alex, how many are going to be, Alex J, how many are going to be in that row for Darlene's? If she has one row, how many apples are going to be in that row?
7.
7. That's amazing, Alex J, how you use your voice all the way through someone else's computer from your house. That was impressive. I want to know how you do that trick. All right, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's Darlene right there, right? She has 7 apples in one row. Another way, we're going to look at Juan's now, or Juan now has 4 times as many rows. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but 4 times because it says 4 times as many. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there would be an array to represent the difference, right? So we have arrays, we have groups, and then the last one I'm going to show you is a really good way to think about it when we're doing like certain times as many. If we were at school, I love to use the cubes, like the Unifix cubes to represent this. So where you would make a group for Darlene using the Unifix cubes, and then you would do one that was 4 times as long for the other group. So let's pretend for a minute that I had Unifix cubes for Darlene, all right? And so I'm putting those cubes together, and you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to draw a line to show that's where her group ends. So then for 1, I would do the same thing, but I would do it 4 times because it says 4 times as many. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cubes. Then I'm going to do it again. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 2 times as many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 3 times as many. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 times as many. So those are just a few different ways we could represent that problem, ways we could draw that out to help us solve it. That way, a lot of people have worked with arrays. Sometimes arrays can be a simple way of putting it. So now we're going to go through and we're actually going to solve the problem. So I'm going to say I have groups of 7. So I'm trying to figure out how many Juan has, right? We circled that. How many, or we underlined it. How many apples did he pick? And we said he is Juan. So I'm going to count. I have 7, 7, 7, and 7, right, in each group. So I'm going to do 7 plus 7 and 7 plus 7. So 7 plus 7 equals 14. And then another 7 plus 7 equals 14. Then I can add my 2 14s together, and I get 28 apples. Justify your answer with units. Apples, right? So those are just some of the ways I could represent and draw out that problem. All right? So now that I've done one and I've shown you, I'm going to let you talk through understanding a problem with Miss Weibel, and then she's going to give you guys the opportunity to go off and solve it and come back and share the ways that you drew it and represent it. It's an easy problem as far as the numbers go, but right now we're just focusing on how can you model it and show an example, because you're going to get the harder ones later on, okay? So the problem itself isn't very difficult, but I want you to focus on how you can model that or show it on your whiteboards.
Okay. Can I have Denise? Can you read my problem here?
Franco's daughter is 2 feet tall. Franco is 3 times as tall as his daughter. How tall is he?
Thank you. CJ, what is one important thing in this question?
How tall Franco's daughter is.
Yep, Franco's daughter is 2 feet tall. So that would be Franco's daughter. And Cynthia, what's another important number in here or important thing in here?
Franco is 3 times as tall as his daughter.
Yep, Franco is 3 times as tall as his daughter. So that's Franco. And then last one, Alejandro, what's the last important thing in this problem?
How tall is he?
Yep, and who's he? Who's the he that they're asking about? It's in the problem. Alejandro, who's the he?
Franco.
Franco, yep. We're asking how tall is he, meaning Franco. All right, so I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes to come up with the way that you want to solve this problem, and then we're going to talk about it and go over the different ways that everyone solved it, okay? So I am going to give you 4 minutes, starting now. Michael is already working hard, so is Guadalupe. So is Cynthia and Alex J. And Ania.
Guys, got about 1 more minute. Sorry, 2 minutes. My fault.
Give me a thumbs up when you are done. Derek is done. Corbin is done. Ania is done. Cynthia's done. If you do not have your camera on, I do not know what you are doing.
That means turn your cameras on, folks.
Jay is done. All right, raise your hand if you want to share how you solved this. Not the answer. Do not yell out the answer, but how did you solve it? Someone I have not called on this morning. We need to up our participation. Corbin, I think I talked to you today.
I did it by doing groups, and I put dots in my 3 groups, and then I counted up my dots by 2s, and then I got 6
All right, hold on, pause.
feet tall, and then
Hold on. So how about we start with Franco's daughter? I wish she had a name. Okay, and so if you're doing groups, how many groups would she have?
3.
She would have 3 groups, the daughter?
2.
Not 2 groups. I just did it.
1 group.
Yep, with 2 feet. So we could call this 1 foot, 2 feet. So that's her. She's 2 feet tall. We're done with her. So we're gonna go to Franco. Now, how many groups would Franco have? He has 3 times. Yes. You would have 3. So this would give him the same amount as his daughter. This would be 2 times. And this would be 3 times.
Yeah.
Who did it differently? Who did something different? There's no way everyone did the same thing as Corbin. Ania, explain to me how you did it.
I already knew the answer, but I just since I already know that 3, so I did it like 3 plus 2, since I knew it was 3 plus 2 was 5. I knew that 3 times 2 would equal 6, because I would just add 1 more, basically in multiplication.
All right, so we're working on that's fine as a strategy to find the answer. But right now, the point of the problem is we're just working on how to represent it, like how to draw it differently. So like, let's say we drew Franco's daughter and we showed that she was 2 feet tall. So we just drew a little stick figure standing there. That's Franco's daughter. And we showed that she's 2 feet. How could we show that 3 times 2 feet like that with people? So like what we could do is we could draw Franco next to her, right? And we could draw that he's taller. And we could show that 3 of her, right, because he's 3 times taller, would be the same height as him. So we're going to draw 3 of Franco's daughters stacked up and show that they are, we had a little proportion issue here. Hang on, we'll fix Franco's height. But each of those daughters, each of the height of his daughter is 2 feet, right? So we can see that it's 2 feet and then 2 more feet stacked on top and then 2 more feet stacked on top of that. So when we put them all together, they're the same height as Franco. So we would say 2, 4, 6, right? To show that she is, 3 of her is the same height as 1 of him. So that's what we're trying to do. I know that 3 times 2 is a pretty easy one. We're going to talk you through the next one. So maybe talking through the next one will give you a little bit better idea of what we're talking about, because most of the problems you guys see are not going to be as simple as 2 times 3. But you can see right here, like here's Franco, right? We did a drawing, and here's 3 of his daughter. 1, 2, 3 stacked up is the same height. So we say 2, 4, 6. So we can see that 6 feet is the same height as Franco. Does that make sense? So let's look at one more. This next one is a sample problem. So you're going to do problems just like this for your assignment today. So Miss Weibel is going to talk through exactly how you're supposed to do this problem, so you understand what you submit. So I need everybody to pay attention, because I'm going to be upset with you. She's going to show you how to explain your solution, and I'm going to be upset with you if your answers today to your work are not similar to what she's about to show you. This is the last thing we're going to do today before we send you off to work.
Okay, so I'm going to look at this problem, and it says Anna picked 6 apples. Sabrina picked 7 times as many apples. How many apples that Anna picked 6 apples? That's an important number. Sabrina picked 7 times as many apples. And then my question is, how many apples did Sabrina pick? So I'm going to start with Anna. I'm going to give her a basket with 6 apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now Sabrina has 7 times as many. So Anna has 1 basket with 6 in it. And Sabrina picked 7 times as many as that. So she's going to have 1 basket, 2 baskets, 3 baskets, 4 baskets, 5 baskets, 6 baskets, 7 baskets with 6 in each. And then what I'm going to do to solve this problem is I'm going to count all of the apples that are in Sabrina's basket. So I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. That's 42 apples. I'm putting it below it. I'm not done though. This is not the end. I need to explain, writing, using my words, how I got this problem. So I can say, I'm gonna write it in a different color. I knew Anna picked 6 apples. So I drew a basket with 6 apples in it. Say then, I knew that Sabrina picked 7 times as many apples as Anna. So I drew 7 baskets. That says baskets. It's hard to read. With 6 apples in each basket for Sabrina. And then I need to explain my last step. That. Then I counted each apple that Sabrina had and got 42 apples. So I used my words. I wrote sentences to explain how I solved this problem. I didn't just say, I drew baskets and apples. You got to say a bit more than that.
All right. Yep. So when you do your assignment today, that is what we're expecting. Okay. Whether that means we want to see you write out your description. So even if you're somebody who usually records your responses, we want to see you write out your answer just like Miss Weibel just did and record. You can still record yourself sharing that, but we need to see that it's written out, because what we've noticed is a lot of us are actually really good at solving the problem, but we're being very lazy with the way we're describing the way we solved it. And we need to see that you guys are giving that max effort at doing that. Okay. We know this is going to take a little longer. So you guys today, when you go to do your assignment, I want to be clear about this. There are 4 problems. All right. We're only going to ask you today to solve and explain 2 of them, because we know it's taking a little bit longer. So you get to choose which 2 you're going to solve, and then you're going to solve them and explain how you got your answers. Okay. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about on Canvas. So if you go to excuse me, I'm going to go to student view. If you go to math for Thursday, it says comparison problems, and it says solve the comparison problems below. After you solve each problem, explain how you solved it. So there are 4 problems right here. There's number 2, 3, 4, and 5. You need to choose 2 of them to solve. Everybody right now, show me on your fingers, how many problems do you need to choose to solve today?
2.
2, right? You're choosing 2. You do not need to solve all 4. If you want to solve all 4 and be an overachiever, that would be awesome for you. If you want extra practice, but we're asking you to do 2, and then you need to explain in detail, just like Ms. Weibel did, how you got your solution. Okay, that is your only job for math today, is to solve 2 of those problems and explain how you got your solution. Take your time to really understand what the problem's asking, just like we did when we went through and underlined and circled things. I know it's hard. You can't do that because you don't have a pencil and paper in front of you, but take some time to understand how to solve it, solve the problem, and explain your solution, okay? These people